Hey everyone, it's good to see you back. In today's video, we're diving into one of the most fun and unique Titan builds out there, the Prismatic Stasis Titan build using the Blastwave Striders and Alethonym. I have not seen many people use the exotic since the day it was released, and surprisingly, the exotic combos are actually pretty stellar and high endgame content. So tell me, what is your reasons for not using the two exotics, as I'll be interested to hear. Anyways, if you're someone who's interested in Blastwave Striders but don't know how to build into them or what even the point of them are, then don't worry. This build I have for you today is pretty fun and will answer most of your questions. Let's start with our exotic armor, Blastwave Striders. With its exotic effect, Blastwave Striders, it states, gain resistance to your explosives, defeat targets to charge your armor. Once charged, slide or deal explosive self-damage to rocket jump backwards and blast deadly shrapnel projectiles that spawn stasis crystals on impact. A charged rocket jumps grants frost armor. The Blastwaves are an interesting exotic as they tend to work out much better when paired with Alethonym grenade launcher. They have a relatively slow charge and the extra glaciers created by them are handy for freezing multiple enemies at once. On top of that, they also provide damage reduction, so in many ways, the exotic provides quite a bit to players to mess around with. If you wish to make the exotic effective in endgame, then having Alethonym is a start. After that, I would say Hell the Storm seasonal mod will also help with spreading out the slow and freeze onto additional enemies caught by us. This way, even if we don't kill a target straight away, we can at least burn them down some more while rebuilding our charges up again to repeat as many times as we like. Additionally, having the Glacial Quake Super is also helpful, as we can chain our effect one after another for even more damage on a larger scale. Our second exotic is Alethonym, with its exotic effect, Harvester Spike, which states, this weapon fires a Harvester Spike projectile. Dealing final blows with the weapon creates a single vestige at the target's location. Impaling more powerful combatants with the projectile creates a steady stream of vestiges from the target. An amazing to bring exotic that provides both power, accuracy and free ammo upon kills being made. Using this with Striders creates a unique combination where collecting vestiges will also grant us charges towards our Striders effect. This means we can use our Striders more often, as much as possible, rather than through slow gains, which to me is the best way to use the two exotics available. This will pretty much act like a main primary because it has unlimited ammo available, which does mean you can swap out your secondary for something non-anti-barrier. Just remember to pair this up with Concussive Reload for that extra damage boost as well. For aspects of Fragments we have the following. Knockout, where critically wounding a target or breaking shields increases your melee damage and grants heals on kills. Concentration, where sliding and activating your charged melee, you launch yourself into the air to shoot out a wave of solar. Activating the melee charge again causes you to slam down to the ground and create a bigger wave that can ignite. A Facet of Ruin, which increases the blast radius of ignitions, shatter, and frozen targets after a kill. A Facet of Balance, where rapidly defeating targets with light abilities grants melee energy. Rapidly defeating targets with dark abilities grants grenade energy. A Facet of Awakening, where defeating targets with light or dark damage will generate an elemental pickup corresponding to them. A Facet of Sacrifice, where while having an arc, solar, and void buff, ability Thunder Blows grant additional darkness transcendence energy. And a Facet of Dawn, where powered melee hits against targets grants you radiant. Powered melee Thunder Blows makes you and allies radiant. Initially, I was going to focus on having Diamond Lance instead of Concentration because of the amount of glaciers, slow and freeze effect that will be going on within the build. However, I had a second thought on the matter when using Diamond Lance in GMs and where they may spawn. The risk behind using them would leave me too exposed for a small item on hand, and this alone wouldn't make me use my exotic combo strong enough to benefit me or the team. So I went with the full concentration and knockout setup instead. This way, it actually works with the build while also staying mobile as well. With the high usage run on melee, we will be mainly using our powered melee once Transcendent State is active. If we don't have that, then we do have Facet Awakening available that can provide us with a status shard depending on what kills we get. On top of that, having Facet of Ruin is pretty much a must within the build, so having the two in hand with a Glacial Grenade will make short work of anything we face. We could also add on the Facet Command for our free reload and shards as well, while also adding on Facet of Justice for the additional explosive damage, but this would require us to move some things around. Potentially, a Facet of Dawn is the only one where you could remove it without too much harm being applied to the build, but this is what I would do of next course. For the mods and stats, we have both Resilience and Discipline marked with the highest priorities for the build. Resilience, we have ours at a tier 10 for a 30% damage reduction. We have added the harmonic resistance mod for the extra elemental resistance, although R1 will only be useful against a select few enemies, such as the Banes. It might be best to swap this out for a different elemental one instead. A Discipline, we have ours at a tier 10 for a 1 minute 1 second cooldown via glacial grenades. Those Striders can create stasis glaciers. Ideally, we also want a second option available just so we can pair this up with our consecration setup for more damage overall. This will also help in the meantime to build up our Dark Transcendence energy as well, so it will have other benefits towards the build. However, I know most players may feel this might not be needed if you use your Striders a lot, so I will play around with the two first and see if they benefit you as well, as they did for me. Now, generally when it comes down to additional mods and additional stats we have left over, this is what I would recommend for buffing our other key stats. Impact Induction times 2 for a 17% grenade buff, Momentum Transfer times 1 for a 12% melee buff, Distribution for a 4% all ability cooldown, and then Outreach for an additional 12% melee buff. A lot of the buffs will be going towards our melee, but we won't be investing too much though. Additional mods we have the following: Heavy Ammo Finder, Reserves and Scoundrel mods for our heavy weapon, a Dynamo where using your class ability near enemies will grant you super energy, Arc Siphon for creating orbs of power via arc weapon types, Charged Up times 1 for increasing the maximum stack of armor charges by +1, Arc Surge times 1 for a 10% arc weapon buff, Elemental Charge where collecting elemental pickups will grant you energy towards an armor charge, and Powerful Attraction where using your class ability will collect nearby orbs of power. So as we have covered the exotic primary weapon, I will then advise you to pick some super weapons for the build. What I recommend are all optional, so please keep this in mind. Our secondary primary will be the Tarnished Metal with Demolitionist and Volt Shot. Although weaponry here can be random, the arc weapon is pretty great with working with the arc seasonal mods on hand within the build. Having arc compounding, retinal burn, and trace evidence is such a common and familiar setup for me that it's kind of hard for me to skip out and miss it for everything it provides. The following works well for my build as it covers everything I would need for endgame, but also hitting hard in against all enemies. But do remember, this isn't really needed at all. A soda weapon that can scorch and ignite might be a better pick, just so Faster Ruin gets more coverage over time. For heavy, we then have the Typhon GL5 with spike grenades, demolitionist and chill clip. Pairing this up with the Vesper stasis kit will provide ample ways to fix and shut down the vast majority of higher tier enemies we face. I find using this with the Concussive Reload mod is a deadly combo, capable of killing champions within 5 to 6 shots. Against bosses, it does fairly well with the added on freeze effect via chill clip. Personally, it's a good recommendation for the build, but be careful of distance when being used, as the build is quite aggressive and we will be playing in close quarters. A Blastwave Strider is a fun and unique approach when it comes down to creating a glacier on demand. While its main weakness is how far out our glaciers become when activated, this isn't as bad as I thought when I read some of the comments online and some of the thoughts from the community. Personally, if you wish to succeed using the exotic, then it's best to advise you use it with the Prismatic Consecration setup, and then focus on playing aggressive to build up your status super and transcendent state as soon as possible. This way, the build can make full use of the glacier spread out, as they should trigger a large chain reaction to anyone caught by the initial blast. This has worked out fairly well for me, as I am able to solo single an area on my own while my team focuses on other things elsewhere, and that extra damage reduction being applied when triggered is also helping us a long way. It's quite confounding that such an exotic isn't that much popular by the community standards, as it provides extra level protection via false armor for free. These stasis glaciers created can be paired up with Facile Ruin for extra damage or free reload via Facile Command. It works amazingly with Alethonym, and overall doesn't require much more to build into it. The build shown provides a different case as to how to use the exotic fully in endgame, in a more fun manner. However way you put it, the build and everything it combines is perfect for the aggressive players who wish to use stasis on a more grander scale, such as this season. So there we have it. I hope you all enjoyed the build breakdown. If you have any thoughts on the content shared, then please leave a comment below. Or if you enjoy the content and want more of these videos, then leave a like and a sub while you're here. A dim link for the build is located below in the pin section, and I do advise you to check out my playlist for more. It was great sharing today's video with you all, and I hope to see you again soon.